Gomase. Karate Kid fans, we're back with the Karate Kid Legends. Connor, what's the plot of Karate Kid Legends?
A new boy goes to New York, and he has a crush on the Haley Steinfeld too. And then her dad is being attacked by loan sharks, so he teaches the dad how to box. But then he's like, the dad gets beat up by a cheap shot and almost dies. And then he says, "I guess I'm joining this 16 bracket karate tournament that's open entry and the biggest one in the entire city of New York." And then
with no qualifier, it's just
Jackie
16
Chan
people.
and Ralph Macchio show up, and they train him in karate and kung fu because you have to balance the arts or whatever the fuck. And he's sad that his brother died, but then he fights in the karate tournament, and you'll just have to see the movie to figure out if he wins or even survives.
Yeah,
It's a fierce foe named Connor, who's a dirty Italian. Anyways, Joe, what did you think of this movie?
Okay, so my first thoughts. So first of all, you have to accept that this is Sony once again, and while Sony has put their name on Cobra Kai as well, they had actual creators and writers and people that actually made what they were making. And yes, they had a director in this movie, and they probably had writers and stuff, but they're under... This movie, being a motion picture, is more under the Sony lens than, say, a Netflix TV show is.
Yep.
So the difference here, I can say, is you can say without a doubt, well, I do have positive things to say, this is 100% a Sony cash grab. It's 100% them, we fucked up with Spider-Man, let's go and make as much money on Karate Kid, Cobra Kai lineage that we want. And they make that clear from the beginning of this movie, because they're literally rehashing... This movie rehashes multiple plot lines from the original Karate Kid multiple times.
It's pretty much just a remix of all the Karate Kids.
It is literally rolled into one. It's literally hybrid Karate Kid rolled in with some Kung Fu.
With Pepsi ads.
With Pepsi ads, yeah. Exactly.
Well, there's a lot of ads, because there's also an Applebee's in Times Square, which I almost guarantee there's not an Applebee's neighborhood grill in Times Square.
But with all these things said, I mean, I think this movie is actually, for what it is, I think, like, you know, we're not watching The Godfather, we're not watching Casablanca, and any of those, like, actual good films. For a Sony Pictures movie, it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Like, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing I've seen this year. I will say it's the best thing I've seen this year. I did have fun at times. There was enjoyment. There are some weird plot lines. Like, first of all, I know people are going to call it out, but, like, the whole kid training the boxer because the boxer can't fight, that's kind of stupid. Like since when, like, just because I know a little bit of Kung Fu, I'm a kid, I'm going to teach a grown-ass man to get in the ring and fight, and Kung Fu's going to enhance my boxing? When has anyone ever said that Kung Fu enhances someone's boxing? Like, I don't know if that's ever been a thing.
It probably does a little.
Like, maybe some of the footwork could, but yeah, I don't know. That whole plot line just seemed weird to me. It just didn't really fit and mesh with the movie. It was the only original thing the movie had going for it, but it still was just a weird...
But they had to thematically repeat what happened to his brother, because this time he wanted to right the situation.
Exactly.
By doing karate. It was unnecessary, but
yeah,
I think that was the goal.
Yeah, that's...
Even though I think the brother plot probably could have just got
situation for Captain Planet to save the pizza restaurant.
They had to contrive a lot of situations for a lot of things.
The only mistake I think that this movie makes that would have been fun is multiple times during this movie I kept thinking about Ninja Turtles, Secrets of the Ooze.
Darth is
where Kino beats up the guys that are trying to jack the pizza.
Yeah.
I felt like the movie could have benefited from a little of that cheese. I don't know. I just felt like they're already going in this weird direction. It was like I feel like this movie is like the plot is very seen before, very heard, but some of the characters in this movie and the acting, well, not even the acting, some of the stuff in the movie, like the actual choreography, you can tell that they brought in a good stunt team. You can tell, like, it's stylized, but like there's times where it's not the best choreography I've seen. Like, you can definitely tell that there's times where like they like made it so stylized that sometimes you can't see what's going on. Like, but overall, I had a good time with this movie, but I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of just, like I said, it's a Sony cash grab. If you're going in with low expectations, you could have a fun time with this movie. The soundtrack is not good in this movie. Oh,
They got all the
It's
bangers.
weird.
They
It's
got
a
every
weird-
song ever made.
It's a weird soundtrack with absolutely no cohesion.
Yes, absolutely.
The theme song of this movie is the first 20 seconds of California Love. They play it like 9 times.
And I like California
And
Love,
none
but
of
it
the
doesn't
rest
really
of it,
make
not
that
a
much
single
sense
second
because
of it.
most
Yeah.
of the movie, except for the 30 seconds that Jackie Chan visits Danny-san and the 30 seconds that Danny-san and Cobra Kai guy are talking about pizza at the end, none of it takes place in California at all. So I don't know why that's the song they chose.
That's also, I think, that's why
It's literally a movie about New York, and they keep playing California Love.
That's my also.
Yeah.
That's also the worst part about this movie. I think is the marketing behind this movie. The brand of this movie is to sell people on. Hey, look, it's Jackie Chan and Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah.
You barely get
Yeah.
any of that. Like, so it's like it just feels weird that you're selling it off that one plot line.
Jackie Chan, I will at least consider a somewhat major supporting character. He is
Yes.
gone for
He's
like
in enough of
30
the movie.
minutes while
Yeah.
they're setting up the
Yeah.
love interest plot and the loser past his prime dad thing.
Yeah, but when
So
they,
that's kind of
Right.
okay.
But remember when they announced this movie, they built this movie on the friendship of Jackie Chan and Daniel LaRusso. Like they're trying to like it was like
I
something.
mean, I'm sure it was one of those
Yeah.
things where they're
Yeah.
like, okay, we got
Yeah.
Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, and they can be in the same room for 3 days,
Yeah.
so we got to make it count. You know?
Yeah, that's true. It probably was one of those situations because they were finished filming Cobra Kai at the time too, to finish season 6.
And Jackie Chan literally has 3 TV movies or 3 direct-to-DVD movies in the fucking Walmart bins right now. Like
Yeah.
Jackie Chan has starred in fucking 400 movies
Yeah.
or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah,
like
that's
unironically.
Yeah.
Crazy amounts of films for a major actor who works in real productions. So
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
probably one of those things where Jackie Chan's like, you guys are filming for 3 weeks, you have Jackie for 7 days, you know?
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
record everything in the dojo in
Yeah.
3 hours. All of a sudden,
That's
the
true.
next set's already built. He's walking next door to the rooftop set.
I just wish
I
that-
like the cartoonish Disney Channel sets. I think they're charming.
I think
Yeah.
the whole thing is
Especially
very
the-
Disney Channel.
the
Yeah,
first
it does feel
acting.
Disney shit. That's
The
best thing
first
it does
fight
feel
when he
like.
beats up the thugs in the alley where they're on like the fucking 6 foot by 6 foot like
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles back
Yeah.
alley set.
Yeah.
Well, even when Aiden said, Aiden mentions that the love interest played Kim Possible in that Kim Possible movie.
Did she
And
actually?
even before
Yeah.
that, I was like,
Yes, she did.
she 100% has the. I don't know if she's in one of those modern, like, Hannah Montana clones or something, but she was doing, like, Disney acting tropes that, like,
Yeah.
you would see on, like, the Disney Channel shows they record, 3 episodes a day of,
Yeah, yeah.
They were just, like, those, like, movements,
well,
and you
the
could tell
titular
she was
Karate
classically
Kid has the
trained
same
by those.
inflection as the game dude.
Yeah?
Famous criminal on the lam, the game dude.
This reminded me of you guys remember
wrong with
you guys remember that Disney Channel movie Windy Woo?
Yes.
This reminded me of Windy Woo a lot. Like I felt a lot of that energy.
Starring
of, like,
Home Alone's wife.
Brenda Song.
Yeah.
I think Macaulay Culkin should have showed up in this movie, and they
Yeah.
should have just like stopped and like gave him a moment, like he was like a major person, but really it just
Just
he's
moves
there.
in.
Yeah, I just feel like
No, like he'll be a major character, and they'll act like he's like, I know the third technique, I know
The third
I know
branch.
I know fucking judo or something. He starts wrestling the little Asian kid's legs, Although you do see some shots where you can see just how small our star is, because there's one point where he's walking through New York,
yeah.
and he's up to like most of the extra
Yeah.
shoulders. Like this man is 4.5 feet tall.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's kind of ridiculous is like when you set up your matchup between your hero and your villain, or you have like your fighters in the tournament, it doesn't make much sense when your character is this like short, and then you have like your villain is like kind of tall. Like it doesn't really work very well when you're trying to like, because all you're doing is like, what's the point of having cheap shots when you can only just take your leg to his head and just constantly. Especially most of these tournaments don't always include like the headshots. They're usually pretty picky about that. The fact that this one's like, oh yeah, you could totally just knock these people out no matter
I
what.
wish there was more from the sensei, because they kind of like set up their dojo as like some sort of Cobra Kai, but you don't really get like
Yeah,
the
you don't get-
character
He's also,
of
like-
the Cobra Kai dojo. I couldn't tell
He's
you
also
the
like
name.
when the dad is boxing, he's in the crowd and he's like a mafia guy or something.
Oh,
and
is he also one of the mafiosos?
and he's like, kill that guy, kill that guy.
Yeah.
I thought the mafiosos were separate and looked similar, but I had that same thought. I'm like,
No,
is that the guy?
It's the dojo guy is also like a mafioso who rigs the boxing match.
Yep.
Huh. I thought that might be the same guy, but I was
But
also like,
I don't
probably
know
just
if he
tripping. It's
actually
probably just
does. He
dying.
actually have a line in this movie?
He says at one point, the guy's like, I got the point already, because you got to show that the villain kid has some confliction because he's just a kid.
Yep.
And he's like, I already got the point. He said, we don't play for points, we play to kill. And
So
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that might be his only line in the entire
Yeah,
movie.
I think that's
The
what they
main
said.
villain's
Yeah.
essentially a featured extra with one line.
You could tell this
He has
movie
less
was like
lines than
2.5
CIA.
hours long, and
Yeah.
they did the little...
He has
Well,
less
yeah.
lines than CIA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting because he like that's one of their first mistakes. Is like it's interestingly like your kid villain has more interest than your like sensei that's supposed to be there, and also if you're gonna bring Jackie Chan and Daniel together, you need to give us a proper opponent for them, better than just some thugs that just show up in the middle of the tournament and get
Right.
taken out like they're nothing. Like
They're both old. They just gotta. They just
no, but
gotta
Jackie
whip
Chan can
through
still
it.
like move and deal with it. Like he still fights good for like if you watch some of his newer stuff, I feel like you can still with the right choreography.
Yeah, but they only had 3 days on set with him
Yeah.
before he had to fly back to China to film like
Right,
Wuhan.
They're like, just
Bong
throw in
Joon-2.
some of those old drunken master
Yeah.
staples
Yeah.
and call it a day.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like you could have brought an actual interesting antagonist in for a couple scenes.
They said
and then
that.
had them-
He said,
You did not pay for Jackie Chan to be here for full time, which means
Yeah.
you get the Jackie Chan special.
You know?
Yeah, just like
Select from 3 moves.
Yep.
You get one action scene for free. Each additional action scene is $20,000.
20,000 yens.
20,000 yen.
Just make that out to the CCP.
I like how this movie made a lot of like I think it's
Making
funny.
that out to Zing King.
I think it's funny that this movie made like they kept making the Peter Parker joke about the kid. I thought that was interesting. They kept driving because it's New York. And, it's so funny that they would put like Peter Parker roped into that.
Cross
stuff.
promotion, my man.
Yeah,
Cross
yeah,
promotion. They got a big Spider-Man 4 that
I like
they
how
probably
they-
haven't even started making.
I like how they hype up the tournament at the start of the movie. They're like, the Battle of the Bronx, or the Battle of the fucking Boroughs.
5 boroughs, yeah.
Is like the biggest karate tournament in the world, and New York just turns into Karate City for a week, and everyone's just bare knuckle fighting out in the streets. And then in actuality, it's a 16-man tournament with no qualifier round.
Yep.
Yeah. He literally doesn't even have an official dojo he's affiliated with. He
Did-
just trains on the roof. And
Yeah. Did
he
anybody
goes
else?
on to the 16-man
Well,
bracket.
also, the 16-man bracket outside of the final fight, which is like maybe 10 minutes long, if that. The other 3 opponents he faces in the 16-man elimination tournament are dispatched within the span of a 1.5 minute montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like I don't know, like there's like the weird thing is like I couldn't understand like especially coming from because with this being a movie about
They could only
karate and
afford the
kung fu.
choreographer for 3 days
Joey,
before he had to fly back
you're
to
a
China.
karate expert.
Yes.
How long does a match like this go? Like an 8-point or knockout elimination match? Is
We
that a
don't
real thing?
We don't do 8 points. We do way more than 8. That's 8-point
Okay.
matches don't exist. That's,
Okay, I have another question.
Yeah.
Do you
During-
ever knock people out? Like if you go
Oh, yeah.
up against like a 10-year-old, have you knocked anybody out?
I don't knock out 10-year-olds, but I've knocked out people before. I fight men. I don't fight children.
I have another question. During the final
Yes.
fight, the evil guy would get like 19 hit combos. and, like,
I was
Yeah.
wondering.
they'd be like air
Yeah.
juggling him, and he'd like
Yeah.
swing him around. And they'd
Yeah.
kick
It
him
looked like,
there.
it looked
Yeah.
like Marvel
And he'd be,
vs.
like,
Capcom.
punching.
He
Yeah.
pulls the big.
Yeah.
He does the Captain America
like-
rocket
Yep.
or the
He was
Iron Man
pulling out
rocket.
like he was like dropping a super move.
He was
Yeah.
doing
And then
like
at
the
the
gun.
end-
It would do the
And then
Mortal
at the end, they'd
Kombat
be like 1
X-ray.
point.
His head
Is that how
shattered.
scoring works? He gets 1 point.
Bro,
for
there
the
were
whole
times
combo?
he was at 4 points because he kicked him in the face twice and he's at 4 points. And then bro lands a 30-hit combo and he's still at 4 points.
Yeah, he grabs the kid, swings him around like fucking
He
like
keeps
Mario's
doing the
back
X.
throw in Smash Bros, and then kicks
Yeah.
him in the chest and launches him almost off the building. And they're like, no points for that. No
Yeah.
points.
Well, then also the other thing I'm wondering about is, isn't it not an instant? I think most combat sports it's like this, but there isn't a single round where Connor isn't running around like donkey kicking fucking judges and just beating the fuck out of them.
Yep.
I feel like it'd be a disqualification. He like grabs their hands and he like snaps it back and the bone comes out. Then he rolls back in, and then the judge is, of course, just standing up again like nothing happened. But
no, like there literally is. There's full out like that sort of thing that when those rules are broken, it can be straight up disqualification, or you get a warning and then you get a disqualification. But when you're doing that stuff, like it's ridiculous.
Bro is premeditated beating on the judges. It's not like accidental hit. They'll like run up and like roundhouse kick the judge in the face.
His wise sensei, nameless mafiosa guy, taught him the technique of beating up the judge.
The nameless mafiosa too. When the boxing match was to save the pizza parlor because it was going to make him enough money if he won. How is it not disqualification that he just started like fucking elbowing him and like stabbing him with broken glass and like throwing dirt in his eyes and stuff? Like, I guess he won by knockout because he broke the guy's neck.
I did appreciate about this movie when we have all the silliness. I thought it was interesting that when they did the flashbacks explaining what happened to the brother, right? It's interesting that they added a real situation to that. Like when they were both having the two of them, like, you know, when you're supposed to save his brother, and then the kid gets stabbed.
Right.
Like, you know, that's something that's really happens. So that's kind of interesting that, like, you had something that was like, oh wow, like because we talk about in
China, dude, it's kill or be killed.
Yeah. Like we have that situation where like we talk about that in class about how like if you freeze up, you're dead. Like, you know, so. This kid's kind of a punk
because of the karate tournament. Xi Jinping asked him.
No, that's what the trailer started to make you think.
Because he pulled the fucking shiv out. He pulled the shank out. Actually, it wasn't a shank. It was like a 20-inch hunting knife.
I heard that the Karate Kid's brother was talking shit. He said Winnie the Pooh on the internet, and that's why he got shanked.
Those guys apparently got away because they couldn't prove it, you know?
Yeah, I still think it's funny, like, you know, I think it's hilarious that everyone,
genuine Winnie the Pooh fan too.
Like the first time that you get the you get the scene where on the train and you have the first like encounter between each other. I love how like they consider someone getting sucker punched a fight. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, you gotta stop fighting. Like
that was ridiculous.
He's got sucker punched.
He even considered it a fight himself. He's like, I didn't mean to fight.
I didn't want to fight.
You got punched in the eye.
Bro, that scene got shot before they filmed that fight scene. Bro was literally walking away with his back turned and got sucker punched, and the mom's like, you piece of shit, and starts whipping him with the belt.
Oh my god, you're not wrong, man. It's
pulling out the switch.
I also like when they start making Marvel quips about his mom beating him when he's with his tutor, and his tutor's like, is your mom beating you? That's like really silly, bro. That just happened.
I like the part where they're on the roof and Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan are just beating the shit out of him the day before his karate tournament. Was good.
Honestly, that was the best. That was the best part.
I like the part where Ralph Macchio's like, "This is good karate," and he puts his teeth on the curb, and then Jackie Chan just starts stomping.
I love how they're having a big dick measuring contest about who's literally gonna like teach this kid their style better.
I thought it was a good homage to bring her back when Ralph Macchio made him start chewing on the knife.
I thought it was a little extreme when Ralph Macchio picked the kid up and tossed him off the side of the building.
That was a good gag, because he landed at the dumpster, and like Ralph Macchio's like, "Are you alive, kid?" And then you look, and his mangled ass corpse is in there because he landed on a bunch.
Oh my god!
Then he fell through the softer trash bag that would have potentially shielded his landing. He snapped.
Well, no, he landed on the trash bags, but the trash bag was full of broken glass.
What a gag!
Just shredded him.
It's funny that this movie, like, you know, you have this kid getting thrown around and stuff, and you know, no one ever talks about. You know, you talk about, you know, like Ralph Macchio, Daniel Russo, and Jackie Chan's character. You know, the actors obviously are getting up there in age, but the characters are also getting up there in age. And like, you know, we always made the argument about like in Civil War, where when Captain America and Bucky are getting wailed on, that you get so much elder abuse happening there. Now we have child abuse just like left and right.
Like, I think this movie needed a serious discussion about CTE.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, it's just
everyone in this movie was just getting kicked in the head. It's gonna be like Rocky V, where in the next movie, the Karate Kid's like retarded and just mumbles. He's rolling around
like,
in a wheelchair.
that's the thing. Like, no one's wearing helmets or anything. Like, these kids should be
I
getting,
think
like,
Jackie
more hurt.
Chan should have looked away confused for a second, his eyes glazed over and he says, "Sorry, I have a dementia." And then his hands start shaking and he says, "Sorry, I also have a Parkinson's."
Like, it's just, like, it's crazy to me. It's like that, there's so many... If you get hit in the head that many times, you're gonna
I'm having an episode.
You're gonna
Daniel's son, please hand me the blood thinners.
like, you're gonna have so many, you're gonna get so many concussions, so many things are gonna happen. Like the kid...
Yeah, they were just bare knuckle.
Like the one...
Bare knuckle.
Like the one Connor kid is just fucking throwing out head kicks like it's nothing. He's just like...
Yeah, they're just going for it.
Yeah, it's just wild to me.
They're just going shin to spinal cord.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I think is entertaining about this movie is this, especially for us who watched Cobra Kai. I'll always know this Connor kid as Robbie Wannabe 2.0 because he looks like Johnny's son. So Tanner Buchanan has like a ponytail like that, and he's like super edgelord like kid. Like if you watch it, I watched the two together, and I'm just like, yeah, you're Robbie 2.0. Dude, that's what you are. You're Robbie Wannabe. Like, just like...
I was getting the vibe. It made me kind of want to sing this song. It goes something like, "Cut my life into pieces."
The last resort.
Yeah, but anyways, it's my turn to talk about the movie.
Go ahead.
I think it's actually my turn.
Is it Aiden's turn?
No, you did. Oh, yeah. It's
Aiden's
turn to talk about the movie.
Go ahead, Aiden.
Yeah, it's like very Disney Channel, very Captain Planet. The mean bullies are gonna shut down the local pizza parlor, so there's a kung fu tournament. It's pretty corny. There's lots of awful quips that do not land pretty much constantly. And there's only one fight. And there's really obnoxious graphics over the montage of fights. So they really just blow through those.
Picturized.
Some funny advertising in there per Sony Pictures regulations. When the tutor guy comes up with the Pepsi and says you want a nice delicious cold Pepsi.
Yeah.
Now you can get at any of your you can get this Pepsi at any of your local convenience stores, grocery stores, or gas stations, and the Pepsi logos are perfectly front-facing.
Yeah,
and when the characters stop at the Applebee's and say, the $5 Applebee's appetizers.
I like the part where the kid drinks the Pepsi and says, "I'm the Pepsi generation," and they're like, "Should we bring that little?"
I like the part where he pulls out a Sony Vaio and Googles the word karate.
I like the part where he pulls
bings
out
the word karate. I'm sorry, bings the word karate.
Oh yeah, he bings karate.
Bing's karate. Yeah, that's crazy.
He says, Bill Gates AI, please tell me how to do karate. And the AI just generates a picture of him naked, It's Jackie Chan crying with a weird, clay face, ass naked.
The Disney Channel sets, especially Ralph Macchio's weeb-ass home. I assume he just kept Dr. Miyagi's home the same, but...
Dr. Miyagi.
Dr. Miyagi.
Oh, he is a doctor because he is a Chinese.
That's what Aiden thinks because he's racist. That wasn't
Ralph Macchio's rolling out like a straw futon to sleep on. He has like pictures of the rising sun on the wall and like samurai swords.
He takes his his outside slippers off.
Well, no,
he
has the wooden sandals with the little lifts underneath them.
So he turned his full on.
He's wearing a kimono at all times, even though that's Japan.
Yeah, he turns his entire he turned the entire house pretty much into his dojo. So that's kind of like the whole.
Man has a hobby.
I also like the Marvel post-credits scene where the guy I don't recognize shows up to set up like this Karate Kid cinematic universe or whatever they're doing.
That's Johnny Lawrence, the original Karate Kid.
That's Johnny Sins, bro.
Johnny Sins.
Johnny Sins.
Johnny Sins shows up and he's like, "We should make a pizza place or something."
He's like, "You want a pizza?
Lift it up.
Lift it up for Shock Factor." He's got no pants on. He's wearing nothing but socks.
Come on, Ralph, Johnny Sins shows up and says, "Want to get some shawarma in the last scene so they can set up the Karate Kid cinematic universe."
He's like, "My favorite pizza's sausage."
Probably gonna get one more movie, maybe.
Probably not.
Not if the movie don't make money. They probably stick to their spin-offs. And I'm sure what's going to happen for this movie is the people that made Cobra Kai weren't associated with this movie, actually. And so what I think they're probably going to do is they're probably going to go, hey, you guys fucked up. We're going to take the things we liked from this, and then we're going to go not call you guys ever again. Because literally, because they're going to be mad because they don't really do any harm to any characters that they have control of. But I think they'll probably be upset a little bit the way that they used Daniel, just because they kind of own the rights to that character. So I think they'll probably be a little upset.
Yeah,
I mean,
guess.
but Daniel, it's a legacy sequel, so Daniel coming to the movie, it was a privilege that they kept Cobra Kai canon. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm shocked you didn't say, but I haven't done karate in 30 years.
I think
Yeah,
Jaden
honestly,
Smith
they could've
and
Luke
Hilary
Skywalker.
Swank should have shown up.
Jaden Smith, Hilary Swank, and Danny San get in a fight
Yeah.
with this kid.
yeah.
So I guess there's 4
All in
generations
all-
of karate kids now.
All in all, not a very good movie. Kind of cheesy fun at points. Probably a little too long, even though it feels like 30 minutes was unceremoniously sliced from it.
Yeah, indiscriminately.
Probably
too.
could have used one more scene of karate in the
Yeah.
16-man tournament.
Yeah, I agree
Somewhere.
with
Yeah, I think there should have been some tension in the semifinals or
that.
something.
Yeah, true.
I'm not, obviously he's got to win that one, and he's going to win it pretty good, because you got to have tension in the finale. But maybe, the second to last one is his first hard opponent, because I think even the Jaden Smith one did that
Well, I think-
shit.
Yeah.
One thing they probably should have done for tension, he does this secret technique where he does the dragon kick and then slide. And they show him failing it the whole time, and then he gets it, and then in the final battle he does it, and it works. They probably should have shown him, never get it, and then the first time it works is against the opponent in the big moment where it counts.
Yeah, we know now that he knows exactly how to do it.
Yes, and then he does it exactly
maybe
as we knew.
Jackie Chan was like, you cannot get this move, but if you keep practicing, you can do it. And he's like, no, I'll never do it. Because his brother's like, you'll do it in the moment when it counts. So you think he's not gonna be able to do it, and then all of a sudden he'll do it. But then they're like, you've learned how you did it successfully once. You're now a master.
Yeah, you're
Now
now
you
you
can do it
This is the strategy. This is how you're gonna win at the end of the movie, and that's exactly what happened. That's what he did. And also, in fairness, the only reason you practice that hard, that one move, when you think about it and you watch the movie, there are a lot easier ways to score than doing a quadruple backflip, super slide, duck, fucking triple kick. And then, how does that count? Because I was like, maybe these kicks don't count because they're not official moves. But then he's like, my brother made this up in the Kung Fu style.
And
So the move was not even fucking official, nor was it a karate move even necessarily.
And so technically, that's the other thing that's kind of crazy is that they say this is a karate tournament, and they're not doing actual karate. Once again, this universe is fumble that they keep making.
It's just vaguely karate themed MMA with a
Pretty
weird
much.
point system that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, the dojo that the bad guys even belong to, it's not even real karate. It's literally just an MMA gym, but they wear gis. That's
Yep.
That's literally all it is. Our mobster sensei, which is a punk, is literally just they're just hitting pads and stuff. I do that in my kickboxing videos and Krav Maga, whatever. But we don't wear gis when we're in kickboxing. We wear sweatpants and regular clothes. It's it's because that's what MMA does. It's weird to me. There's why would you when you're making this movie, would you make a dojo that isn't like a dojo? You want to have bad guys. And also, I noticed even though they don't say no mercy, they totally this new what I can't remember whatever the stupid gym was called, but they literally stole the Cobra Kai slogan and just put a scorpion on it. Yeah. They didn't add the no mercy, but they have the strike hard on it, and they're like, oh, that's funny. Where have I seen that before? It's it's because Cobra Kai's thing has always been strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And
I mean, it's a classic Legacy sequel setup. You get a couple Legacy characters, even if it's just Jackie Chan from the movie no one liked, and
Yeah.
I don't know why they
Daniel-san,
didn't
and then
just,
they
like-
train, but it's otherwise just.
So here's the thing I don't
I don't
understand.
know why they didn't just have this movie set in California and have Cobra Kai be. Well, I guess like Cobra Kai's good now, so you can't do that.
Well, they're
I guess,
continuing
I
to
don't
do
know.
some stuff with the spin-offs and
Yeah,
stuff,
whatever.
where they're gonna do a lot.
Maybe
of
they
other
just make
characters.
Cobra Kai evil again without saying it, and just say this is the pocket of a separate universe.
Well, the whole
The
thing
Cobra
is-
Kai universe comprises of many dimensions.
Well,
or
the whole
something.
point
A
is,
Cobra
like-
Kai knockoff called like Cobra Bai.
Well, the whole idea that they
It's a bunch
did.
of bisexuals.
That's crazy.
Bisexual swingers.
See, the whole thing that they did is like they kind of like they built up Cobra Kai into like because different senseis would make like Kreese. When Kreese owned Cobra Kai, it was evil. When Silver owned Cobra Kai, it was evil. When Johnny owned it, it was for good.
I do
And
like how the new ownership comes into Cobra Kai and they're like, all right, guys, so we're evil now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then someone else comes in, they're like,
I mean that's
we're honor. You know,
That's
like
what
what
happens.
parent?
That's
Are
what
the
happens
parents like
instead.
getting slips that are like, we're now an evil, technically we're legally classified as a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
You know, a gang,
Yeah.
a violent
Well, also-
street gang.
Also, everyone in this universe loves karate, and when parents are signing their kids up for their extracurriculars, they get like 2 leaflets, and it's like good karate school, evil karate school.
Is your kid a fucking prick, or is he like believe like Zen? And
Do you want to go to the evil karate school or the good karate school?
and you gotta either, if you're not the karate kid, just understand your kid's gonna get brutalized by the evil karate school in montages to show that they're so evil and good at karate. Like, you know, your kid's gonna go there, they'll be on the ground, they'll try to lift up,
He's
good
gonna get
game,
kicked
they're
in the
halfway on
balls.
the thing, he's gonna stomp them, and then
You're never gonna
maybe
have
the guy
kids.
will pull out a fishing knife and just gut your kid right in front of the dojo for no consequences.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So, Connor, what'd you think of Karate Kid Legends?
Man, this was a Karate Kid movie that was probably like the characters were charming enough. I think the thing is like this is a 2.5 hour Karate Kid movie, and Sony's like,
It's
what the
literally
fuck?
2
This
hours,
is too
yeah.
much.
Oh,
No.
Okay, I see.
And then they sliced in a half hour indiscriminately, mostly out of the third act. There's a lot of setup to this movie that leads to. But then you also
But they
like,
cut
you know,
out every
in
scene of
Rocky
the
and
villain.
Creed and stuff, these boxing matches go for like 15 minutes. You get into it, they're visceral, your palms start sweating, you're cheering for Rocky, blah, blah, blah. This movie's fight scene was like 3.5 minutes long. And it's like, wow, they're just going back and forth, they're just trading blows, it's even. And then he's like, and then Jackie Chan says, I have no idea how I could get the last hit. Except for the really dramatic, over-the-top, and impractical triple, quadruple backflip dragon kick. That isn't even karate.
Dragon kick and a slide kick.
Dragon kick into
Specifically.
slide kick.
He has to do the
Feint.
combo to counter
You
the
have
thing.
to do a 4 times backflip and then immediately drop to the ground into like a sweep kick that trips them because they were trying to hit you with a high kick. And then you gotta go down, push yourself off the ground, propel 30 feet into the air.
They did like a
kick
Street
'em
Fighter
through the air.
animation cancel.
See, what's
Yeah,
what's
basically.
ridiculous about that is like, so as someone who actually has actual like sparring experience that fights people, you should not have your moves when you're fighting someone in a serious tournament that complicated. Because a good fighter,
No, that's just some cunty shit you do back at the dojo, you know,
yeah,
to show
like,
up.
yeah,
You're
when
not-
fucking-
realistically,
It's not
like,
practical in the slightest.
maybe if you're fighting like a 10-year-old that just is scared and new to
Yeah,
the
just
game,
scared
you
of
know,
getting
they don't
kicked in
got a
the face.
chance and you could just like kick their teeth out, that's one thing, but like if I'm like fighting a fully grown like karate champion, I'm not trying to do all that. That seems, especially because they were trading points. Like there is no reason in the 11th hour he needed to do all that. It was a little much.
yeah, I agree.
The soundtrack was very Sony core. Well, first off, the graphics on the fights, like every fight till the last one, just kept like having like Batman 1966. Like someone gets punched and it would be like karate, and it would like go across it. It's like, are we like censoring the punches, or did they think this was cool? I don't know.
I like the part where he fakes out killing the villain kid.
Yeah,
Where he's like, I'm gonna murder him, and then does the
he
punch,
punches
and the crowd
down,
is like,
and you hear like cracks and like gurgling and blood sound effects, and you hear like, and then he's just sitting there, you know. It's,
Yeah.
the shocked crowd
And then-
reaction.
But you can also tell Sony Pictures' music department was put in charge and didn't know what they were doing. California Love, in a movie that doesn't take place at all in California. It's just like, California Love's a popular song. It's like, yes it is, but when I hear California California love, and it's blasting across and it's an establishing shot of the New York skyline. It's a little nonsensical. And then they played that new Benson Boone song that he's getting clowned over. No one likes him because he's like a fake gay or something, and he used to be Mormon, so he hates the gays. So everybody hates him, but he's presumably like some sort of like Sony Pictures artist or Sony artist or something, because they played his song, and then they were doing like the Damian Marley Nas intro song to their reggae album from 2010 that no one remembers.
Yep.
And then they were cutting to like Chinese rap music, and then it was very like Amazing Spider-Man 2 core, and I think
There's
the cinematography was pretty similar.
Backstreet Boys song.
Yeah, the cinematography was very Amazing Spider-Man 2 as well. Very vibrant and not very good. Very cheap looking. Looked like a TV. And also, like, we walked into the theater, and for some reason the aspect ratio was like TV aspect ratio. Like, I genuinely think this was probably made for like Netflix streaming, and they just really went for it. Like, that's how it was shot, and they're like, we could put this shit in theaters if we cut it down to 2 hours long instead of 3, and blah blah blah. It just like, I don't know, it just like, it's like an okay sports Karate Kid remake for the modern age. Basically like The Force Awakens a Karate Kid, where it's just the same shit with some remixed beat fucking thing.
That's
beats.
a good way to look at it.
Obviously, like, you have the legacy TV show sequel through Cobra Kai, but that's at least seems to be like a subversion. This is like, we're doing the Karate Kid again, and all the characters that you know are going to come back. Even ones that make no fucking sense, like the guy from the reboot Karate Kid movie, Jackie Chan. Which, like, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, it just, like, I don't know. It's kind of like Force Awakens. It was fun. Fun enough. I actually liked the lead kid. I didn't mind the girl either, even though occasionally she would hit, like, the Disney Channel tropes, because that's what she was trained to do, and
Ralph
I guess they
Macchio
just couldn't
still
be
can't
fucked.
act 25 years later.
Well, try 40 years at this point, bro. It was like 1985 the first movie came out.
It was like 40 years.
It's been 40 years and he's never gotten acting lessons. I mean, he's a little over the top. He looks and talks and acts like Tony Hawk, except with like as like bad as karate. And also, you could tell like half the time he was fighting Jackie Chan, he's like, "Let's spar, bro," and then it like cuts their faces out because Jackie Chan didn't want to do that shit, and Ralph Macchio couldn't do that shit, so it's like behind the shoulder shots, and you never see any faces because it's very clearly not them.
Yeah, or like those ones where it'll just show their legs, like.
And like the kids did some impressive stuff, like there's a lot of karate extras, but especially like, I mean, I thought the dad who did boxing, like you could tell he knew at least some boxing to make it convincing, and like
he seemed like
the kids were flipping around doing crazy shit, and you know it hits the tropes well, but it's just Karate Kid again, but with old Karate Kid characters coming back saying he used to do karate, and then Jackie Chan says, "But the karate and the kung fu are like water and two different." I probably shouldn't have squinted my eyes too while I was doing that, while I was doing the racist character, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, it's exactly what you'd expect. It's not, and I think the movie would have went from like, to, if you just like took out the Sony Pictureisms and like got a score instead of exclusively Sony Picture licensed music, cut down the product placement, stop with the funny graphics, get a cinematographer that doesn't suck ass.
Yeah.
If these factors were combined into the movie, you got a cast that's charming enough to make a concept of people do karate at each other for 2 hours fairly entertaining. And I think the crux of the story is fine. It's just like, it's a movie with like decent bones with really poor Sony Pictureisms as its meat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the meat on the bones, so it looks a little blubbery and weird and artificial and blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, I didn't totally hate it for what it's worth. So Joe, would you recommend Karate Kid Legends?
I would recommend it if you guys just want to like have a good time, even though it's a kind of mediocre to subpar movie, but with some fun, with some cheese. I would say if you're just, out with your buddies, having a few drinks, whatever, just go have a good time. You'll enjoy the cheese. Like, you'll hate some other stuff, but you'll enjoy the cheese. There's some good things. I think Joshua Jackson was the boxer dad. I liked him. I'd like to see him in other movies with better scripts and better people, because I thought he was pretty cool. I liked him. I think Mia was her name. That wannabe Haley Steinfeld is. I'd like to see her in more roles. She's not bad.
She could just take over for Hawkeye when Haley Steinfeld becomes too expensive, and they just don't mention it. I wouldn't notice.
Yeah, like Jackie Chan. Like Jackie Chan is always fun, always entertaining. I think
Secret Wars 2.
Yeah, I think he does. I think
Avengers Secret Wars Part 3.
I mean, I think he does what you expect from Jackie Chan. I think he's still doing what he's doing. I'm always a fan, being that I've seen all of Cobra Kai and watched it and enjoyed it. I like seeing Daniel. I think it's always fun to add Daniel in there for whatever reason. Did he need to be in this movie? I don't know, but it was kind of fun watching Jackie Chan and Daniel kind of having dick measuring contests and just kind of doing what they're doing.
Beating the shit out of kids and eating pizza.
So for me, I'd recommend if you like all that stuff, then you might have a good time. So if you like the cheese and you're just knocking back the Coronas and whatever you want to get.
Jerkin.
Yeah, jerkin.
So Aiden, would you recommend Karate Kid Legends? I don't know why I forgot the name. I forgot what we were watching.
I'm gonna say no. It's kind of like a thing that's exclusively made for Cobra Kai fans, or like trying to exploit Cobra Kai fans to some extent. Mm-hmm. So I guess if you really if you watched and liked the entirety of Cobra Kai, you're probably already gonna see this. And if you're like a normal person who's never seen Karate Kid or saw like Karate Kid 1 like 25 years ago on TV, like I did, then I guess I don't know why you would see this, so you probably just wouldn't want to. Connor, would you recommend Karate Kid Legends? Hey boy.
It'll probably
Hey there, boy.
I doubt it'll come to Netflix because that's how streaming services work. It'll probably wind up on like Paramount Plus or something. Yeah. Someone will outbid them just so it's not in the right spot.
Yeah.
But I think the movie was shot for streaming, and I think if this was some shit I was on the couch watching passively while I scroll through TikTok,
Netflix original
look
Karate
up
Kid
once in a while.
Legends.
Yeah, because it was like even the aspect ratio was just Netflix, and a lot of it just screamed this was not intended to be theatrical.
Yeah.
I think if it was like that, I would recommend it. I don't think I would recommend like going out to the theater and paying to see it, but like it's very easy fun. There's really nothing to it, and like the karate scenes are kind of fun. I wish Sony didn't fucking Sony jizz all over it and make it weird and have like fucking whoever fucking do pop star they own the rights to playing in the background, even if it's not fitting, and like California Love in a movie about New York City, about the five boroughs karate tournament is played in by California Love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked they didn't play Hit 'Em Up.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
I don't know. I think like I would just wait till it's on streaming.
Yeah, wait till you can watch it on streaming. I think that'd be the best way to do it.
The karate's also like kind of cool, but it's not shot like inside. Like there's cool stunts, but it's not shot in a way that it's like you need to see this cinematically.
I wonder.
You'll see the triple backflip kick just as easily.
Yeah. I just wonder
on your 65-incher.
I just wonder because I always thought whenever Jackie Chan is in like a movie, I thought he always had like his specific stunt team that you were like just like how they worked on Shang-Chi and they were going to work on Spider-Man. I'm surprised that I noticed that just based on the fights in this movie, I don't think his stunt team were contacted for this movie.
It's only on set for 2.5 days.
Yeah,
They
probably couldn't get him. Yeah,
probably wasn't worth it to fly
I'm
him
sure
all
his
from China.
his personally trained stunt team side venture is probably expensive.
Yeah, they probably couldn't
you probably
afford
have to fly out a bunch of people from China. Like Marvel, if they want to do a kung fu movie and they say, you know who we need? We need choreography from Jackie Chan. They can sign the $2 million check or whatever and import 20 guys trained in Jackie Chan's company. Like, that's fine. But, like, you know, this movie, I don't think they can afford that. I think they bought some time with Jackie Chan. Because Jackie Chan as an actor, like, they could afford Jackie Chan for a little while.
Yeah.
But I think, like, doing the whole theatrics... Also, it wasn't a kung fu movie, so you'd have to, like, modify it. I'm sure, like... And even so, like, the kid was doing some, like, old Jackie Chan scenes, especially in the one where he's, like, fighting the loan sharks. So maybe Jackie Chan or one of his stunt guys taught him some of the kung fu, and then they just kind of went to the basics for the karate.
I know when they were casting...
I have no fucking idea.
I know when they were casting for this movie, they actually specifically wanted someone that had martial arts experience instead of like some of the other people where they just kind of trained them to do choreography and whatever. They went for someone that literally, like, since, you know, they have the whole thing where he trained with his brother and stuff, they wanted you, like, when they were casting him, they wanted him to be, like, actually good at the martial arts from, like, the jump.
Yeah, that makes
Like, they
sense.
didn't want him to be, like, a black belt in, like, every style or whatever, but they wanted him to be, like, somewhat experienced, more than Ralph Macchio was. Like, which I think is...
I mean, Jackie Chan's a good choice, because any martial arts movie with Jackie Chan, people are going to say, oh, that's Jackie Chan, and then there's a certain sect of people that are going to watch it, which is 90% of the reason I was convinced to watch this movie.
Because Jackie Chan was in it? Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Jackie Chan. I love Jackie Chan. It's too bad he's old. Too bad he's fucking elderly now, but what do you do, you know?
You still like seeing him in the
Time
movies.
flies, people dies,
Yeah.
you know?
But you still like seeing him in the movie even though he's getting up there in age. Like, you like
This reminds me of Grief, which means that Maya's gonna chew on a knife. And I'm gonna reincarnate Jackie Chan as you, Joe.